Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Peter coming at you through the tubes of the internet. Today, taking a look at the latest release from Nervous Dater, an album called Don't Be a Stranger. I'm excited to discuss and glad you could join.
Fast Facts.
Don't Be a Stranger, released September 29th, 2017 via Counterintuitive Records, is the first studio LP from New York City-based emo band Nervous Dater. The group currently consists of 4 members: frontwoman Rachel Leitner, bassist Kevin Cunningham, guitarist Yanni Heenan, and drummer Andrew Getz.
Backstory.
Nervous Dater's a new band on the scene. They've only been playing together since 2015, and this is their first full-length outing. But this LP follows up a couple solid 7 inches, a self-titled EP in 2015, and the excellent 100 Beers EP released in 2016. These releases show a natural progression to the sound found on Don't Be a Stranger, and they're definitely worth checking out if you like this full length. Tunes like Kelly Said or Fifth Floor Walk Up can go toe-to-toe with the best offerings here.
Track-by-track analysis.
This release has 10 tracks and clocks in at 35 minutes. It's a pretty perfect runtime for the record because the songs rarely drag and it seems like a complete and well-rounded composition.
Track 1, Bad Spanish.
This tune starts with cosmic effects and bursts of hard rock guitars before settling on a bouncy groove for the instrumentation. It's muted during the verses, but vibrant guitar triplets hammer out the beat during the choruses. And the vocal melody rides this perfectly. It has a bubbly delivery but dour lyricism. There's little touches of Alexis Krauss from Slaybell's evil cheerleader aesthetic in the singing style, which is kind of dejected mess meets bleeding cool. Here, vocalist Rachel Leitner sings about how she wants to write a happy song but can't escape mopey thoughts. So we get an upbeat tune about passing out in a puddle of puke, among other topics. She has a great knack for communicating this over-it sentiment and a really unique quality to her lyricism, which she co-writes with bandmates Heenan and Cunningham. An awesome cut to start the record, and thankfully the band's able to keep this energy for a solid run of tracks yet to come.
Track 2, Fun Dumpster.
Nervous Dater dives into punk instrumentation right off the count, and here there's sparkly guitar leads that sound awesome and shine through cleanly in the mix. It's an emo staple used all over the record that should pass the purity test for even the most closed-minded genre pedants. On the chorus, Leitner again jumps on the beat with a super tight vocal melody. There's a recurring theme on this LP about her hot or cold, all or nothing approach to relationships, and these lyrics convey that in a heartfelt and hilarious way. Later on the track, there's a stark instrumental shift into the bridge. The track mellows to drawn-out tones and even a few quick blasts of ska horns. The band do these big breakdowns on lots of tracks on the record, and I can't get enough. It often seems like the gang's flipping a switch from one movement to the next, and they manage to land them all perfectly.
Track 3, Don't Be a Stranger.
The song starts with chill instrumentals and lyrics about the pressures of always-on city life leading to feelings of inadequacy. Their theme's similar to Scramble's era Bomb the Music Industry or early Wonder Years releases, and lyrically I think Nervous Dater has the chops to hang with Rosenstock and Campbell. It's amazing songwriting. The tune takes a weird turn for the bridge. About 3 minutes into the song, vocal duties get handed over to drummer Andrew Getz, who launches into the absolute cheesiest post-hardcore screams you'll ever hear. It's a time warp to 2003 Victory Records, and I'll be damned if it doesn't work somehow. Against all odds, it manages to sound pretty okay, especially live. It's a strange choice that they don't really utilize again on this release, but as a one-off change of pace, I thought it was kind of cool.
Track 4, Serenity.
This song's good, but not a huge standout for me. I like the lyrics about the awkwardness involved in bumping into an ex repeatedly because you're running the same social circles. It's a sort of classic breakup song from a slightly different perspective, and the hook is super sticky per usual. A perfectly capable track, but it doesn't grab me like some of the other tunes here.
Track 5, Pigeon Language.
This tune finds the band exploring some more alternative rock instrumentation. Long, drawn-out tones and overdriven guitar strums join the usual high, clean guitar work. It almost has a grunge feel with the repetitive "I'm so fucking lucky" lines that end each verse, especially late in the song. This cut's lyrically sparse, but the lines that are present deliver an emotional punch. The too cool attitude from other tracks is stripped away and replaced with feelings of alienation. Overall, a nice change of pace and a good song with a different feel.
Track 6, Vominos.
The band take the tempo back up when this tune kicks off and tackle a straightforward pop-punk sound. There's no real gimmicks here, just great lyrics and great music. I love the tea leaf reading with coffee grounds at the end of the first verse and the bloodshot eye description in the second, but the real star of this track is the bridge. It takes up a huge portion of the song and builds in a couple different ways. This is the first time the instrumentation drops completely out to just a thin single chord strum. It sounds more dramatic than ever and the lyrics are awesome. It also makes you miss that omnipresent twinkly guitar sound for 2 full minutes and then puts it super high in the mix on a solo when it re-enters the song at the end. A great track all around and my favorite on the album.
Love in small doses until the floodgate opens, so I kill any sense of the word and let my breath become still.
Track 7, Run Home.
I'll run home when the water runs cold over my bones.
Here the band's doing the 90s alt Pearl Jam thing again, and it sounds a bit tired. This is always a song I find myself reaching down to skip when listening through the album, because it's just a bit too slow and repetitive. The last minute kicks into a cool musical movement, but it's almost always bored me too much by that point. This is my least favorite track on the album, and I'm sure being back to back with the previous banger doesn't help.
Track 8, Stockton Syndrome.
Not exactly sure what to make of this tune. It seems like a somewhat glib take on the topic of drug overdose. There's awesome lines in the first half about spoons that cut like knives and comparing collapsed veins to a traffic jam, but then the whole second half is corny and repetitive. It reminds me of that horrible Scotty Doesn't Know song from the Eurotrip soundtrack. This one's kind of a wash, I'd say. Not the worst, but definitely toward the weaker end of the offerings on this great release.
Jackie's got the drugs, Jackie's got the drugs, Jackie's got the drugs, and holy fuck, he's gonna take.
Track 9, Saratoga.
Nervous feelings of a panic coming on as I sit in Saratoga all night long.
Song's pretty good. The chugging guitars seem really fuzzed out here and mirror the strung out hazy feelings from the booze, weed, and cigarettes described in the lyrics. It's a little Green Day-esque. There's a great line about burnout synapses that makes these musical choices click stylistically. This kind of seems like a hangover set to music for better or for worse, and the lyrics suggest that's what they were going for, so I think they pulled it off really well.
Just try to stay occupied, but every time I try, it's like my synapses are burnt out and fried.
Track 10. Wavelengths.
Firefly, neon cuts and toxic insides.
Awesome twangy instrumentals here. It brings back that outer spacey vibe from the very first seconds of the album. And there's excellent lyrics pointing out the weird, unnatural qualities of the lightning bug and writing a song in its neon guts. It's such cool imagery. And the dreamy, drugged feel of the music with one last reflection on loneliness is a good way for the album to go out. Ending on something that smells tough, but I definitely think they stuck the landing here. An awesome capstone to a great record.
In the morning you call to say I could see wavelengths and you were on mine.
Verdict.
Overall, I think this is an exceptional debut, and I'm really excited to hear what the band creates next. The lyrics are witty and interesting, the instrumentation is hard-hitting and dynamic. It's pretty much the full package. A couple songs start to sound samey coming down the home stretch, but the band's already shown a great ability to work in different musical styles. By skirting the line between emo and alternative approaches, they've crafted a really cool sound. And I'm excited to hear how that evolves in future releases. This is an 8.5 for me. It's an awesome record and definitely one to check out if you're into this type of music.
Don't be a stranger, stay away. Start raising again.
So that pretty much wraps up my thoughts on the record. Let me know in the comments what you thought of the release, my critique, or the review format in general. Making this is a lot of work, but also fun, and definitely worth it if it helps some people wrap their head around the record. Thanks for listening, and I'll catch you next time.
It's a series of tubes.